Rocsi Diaz, welcome to the Highly Relevant Podcast.
Thanks for having me. I love the name.
Thank you very much. Hey, we only have highly relevant people, okay? You have a brand new show. Congratulations on it. It's called Cannonball, and it's airing on the USA Network. And you co-hosted with The Miz from the WWE. How did the job come to you?
Well, I got a phone call from my agent, and they were like, "Hey, go try out for this show." And it was more of a chemistry test with Mike. They were looking for somebody who would partner up and be a good compliment to him. And from day one, I mean, from that audition, Mike and I were like big brother, little sister, joking around. You know, I wouldn't let him bully me, push me around. I was pushing him around. So, and it was that, that resilience that we have with each other and the chemistry from day one. Yeah. And with our sideline reporter, Simon Gibson, also. Like, honestly, I can't think of two other guys to work with, and they were absolutely amazing. And Mike, he's a superstar. He's a dream. As big of a personality he is, he's also so humble too, and he gives back, and he wants everybody to shine.
How would you describe the formula for having great chemistry?
I think that, I don't know. I think you kind of read a vibe, and being a reporter, when you're on the other side of that mic, it's about making the other person comfortable and making sure they shine. So it's about being complimentary to the next person and not being fake, but being complimentary. At the end of the day, we learned when we were kids, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. So I think if you treat somebody with the utmost respect and with kindness, and you're just genuine, I think that that's going to read regardless. Some people just don't work well together. It's just a clash of personalities. That happens. You can't force it, but sometimes that makes for good TV too. So
absolutely. Now, I was checking out the show and I noticed that there's no social distancing. So when exactly was it filmed?
Our show was filmed last October before the pandemic.
Okay.
So yeah, we weren't hit with that. We were completely safe, and unfortunately, with us crossing our fingers for a season 2, we pray that there's a way that we can still continue on doing the show. And Hollywood being the way Hollywood is, we'll figure it out.
By the way, so how has the pandemic been treating you in terms of work? Have you noticed that it's slowed down? Have you noticed that it's maybe even picked up? How busy have you been? And what's the mental toll that the pandemic and essentially everything else? I feel like it's a brand new world. How are you holding up with it?
I'm fine. It has slowed down. The industry has slowed down. But when you're an actor or you're in the television world, you kind of know about your ups and downs already. So it happened during a time that because we were just coming off the holiday break, February, it was still kind of really slow. It's just anything that was going to be in production has kind of gone away now. So it's challenging, but I don't really think about it. I just keep on going and having a great attitude and just like, hey, this is more time that I've ever had to be with my family, to be with myself, to be productive in my own way and stay creative. And you got to take opportunity when it comes. So we may never have this much amount of time on our hands ever again. So it's like, take advantage of it.
I've been checking you out since 106 in Park. I remember Julissa Bermudez also was on that show.
It's a good friend of mine.
There's not that many Latina national hosts in America right now. And I kind of wanted to ask you, what do you attribute that to? And by the way, congratulations on being one of the few Latinas on national air. What have you done in particular that you've stood out where so many other Latinas that wish they were in your position have been able to?
Oh, I don't want to say that I've done anything different that any other person that's trying to get a gig has done, I just stick to my ground. If I'm going to be able to have the opportunity to not only represent myself and my heritage and my race, more so than anything, my family, family first. And I know that when I come on TV, I have to put my best foot forward because I'm representing my family at the end of the day as well. And I don't want my mama coming after me. So you don't know my mom. Okay. My mom does not play. So I have to make sure that I'm always on my P's and Q's. But I think being a person with integrity and always treating people good, and you just being prepared and being professional, not to say I haven't had my hiccups either, but it's a learning process. But I do think that it's important that when we do have those opportunities to not only shine in a good light, but that we have the support of our community as well, because that's just as equally. Hey, you got the Beauty and the Baker, or you
That's
got
right.
Grand Hotel, and it's like, if we don't support them, how are you not going to expect to see more of us on TV? That goes across the board. That's not
Definitely.
just Latinos. That's black and brown across the board.
I know they've canceled so many shows. There's not even one single broadcast show that has a Latinx cast, and that's pretty sad. For the most part, you are from Honduras. You were born there. I
Yeah.
think you lived in Louisiana for a little while. Have you
hmm
ever been back to Honduras?
Yeah, I used to go back every summer. So I was born in Honduras, raised in New Orleans, and we would go back every summer to go visit my grandmother. So it was literally school in the States, but summers in Honduras. And when she passed, when I was around 12 or something,
Mm.
I didn't go for a while. But then, as an adult, went back and surprised the family, and it was a
Oh,
lot of
wow.
fun.
That
And
must have been
and
a
I've been
treat.
back a few times. Yeah, it's been probably about 3 years since I've been back, but yeah, I've been back.
So, how do you identify when somebody asks you where you're from?
I say I'm from New Orleans. I grew up in New Orleans. I was there since I was 2 years old. But I'm from Honduras. So
Yeah.
I always say I'm from Honduras, but I'm raised in New Orleans. And I go back and forth. I mean, this is the United States. We're diversity. We're built on the backs of immigrants. At the end of the day, we come from all walks of life. It's funny, when I got my citizenship for the United States. And when I was taking that pledge, I looked around me and I thought I was going to see a bunch of Latinos, but that wasn't the case. I saw Africans, I saw Middle Eastern, I saw Indian, I saw everything. And that is what America is. We're all walks of life. It's not just one thing.
It's so funny because the label of immigrants really sort of is attached to us Hispanics, and I've always had a
Yeah.
problem with that. And there's all these labels now. Uh, when has anybody ever said you're Latinx, and how do you feel about the term?
That's something that I was just recently was brought to my attention. I didn't know we were separating ourselves so much. But I understand, because it's a different world, a different demographic, and I'm not offended at all. I'm like, okay, if this is, I know who I am at the end of
Hmm.
the day. I know who I represent. And when that comes, somebody asks me, that's a whole race that I'm representing. So uh, I don't find offense to the term. It's whatever floats your boat at the end of the day. I
Right.
don't I don't really put too much energy on titles and labels, because at the end of the day, you can't label me or title me at all. So I don't care. I don't care if that's a good answer. I don't know.
Now,
I don't
when you
know.
were trying to get it, when you were trying to get into the business, who were you looking up to in particular? Was it like, for example, when I was growing up, Bob Costas and Brian Gumbel were some of the people that I identified with. That, you know what,
Mhm.
I kind of want to reach that tier of professionalism. Was there anybody in particular that you kind of modeled your professional career after?
I can't say model, but there were definitely people that I found as my mentors. Oprah was definitely one of
Mm,
them. Even Ricky Lake, famous
I
talk show
remember Ricky
host.
Lake. Yeah, I went to her shows a couple of times.
Yeah, she was so personable, like Oprah, could talk to anybody. She also had humility. Um, Larry King, best interviewer ever. I read all of Larry
That's
King's
right.
books just trying to learn how to interview. His favorite thing was not to prepare at all, which I thought was funny from Larry King. But it just was, there's different tactics and tricks to the trade that you learn from different people. Ellen is so much fun. Ellen is like, she could be friends with everybody. For the fact that people want to go to Ellen's show because they know it's safe to break news, and they're not in an environment that's going to be, uh, too scary or racy or anything like that. I think that's who I want to be. I never want somebody to go on my program and be scared to come on my program.
When are we going to see the Rocsi Diaz show? Is she replacing Ellen? She's in hot water right now.
It's really unfortunate to see that happen to Ellen, because I've been on her show a few times and every experience was always the best experience. But when you're a powerhouse like Ellen, I think it's big of her to take responsibility for those that may have some things that may have fallen through the cracks. And I think that she sincerely doesn't like that her reputation is going to go down like that. At the end of the day, you don't want somebody's reputation to be tarnished. So I think it's unfortunate that it's happening right now. And whoever fills that slot will have some really big shoes to fill. But, we'll see what happens. As far as the Rocsi Diaz show, I'm going to talk to the USA Network about that. Let's see. Maybe it'll be a Rocsi Diaz after Cannonball episodes. Not sure.
What kind of struggles did you go through? I heard a quote the other day that said that all success stories are the sum of failures overcome. How much struggles did you have to overcome to get to where you are? This business, Rocsi, you could maybe even downplay it out of being modest, but it's really difficult to make it to where you are at this game and at this level. How hard has it been for you, or has it been just easy?
It's definitely not been easy. I think just work ethic and tenacity. It's really having faith in God that something else is gonna come. Those days that you're like, I don't know what's the next thing gonna be. Like, what's the next audition? Hello, can I get my agents on the phone? Like,
Right.
I've gone through that. So it's just about, again, when you have those opportunities to shine, you really, really got to grab the bull by its horns and shine and bring your best, because those opportunities don't come often. And I'm always very, very humble, thankful, and blessed whenever I do get a shot, because I know that there aren't many. So I'm just grateful. I'm just a truly, really grateful person.
Thank you very much, Rocsi, for being on the show, and congratulations on Cannonball. I mean, this to me is going to be a huge stepping stone into the Rocsi Diaz future. I can already tell.
All your listeners get a chance to check it out. USA Network's 8/7 Central every Thursday. New episodes also on NBC, and you can stream us all the time, usanetwork.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Rocsi. Much appreciated. Thanks for being on the Highly Relevant Podcast.
Thanks for having me.